Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable, life can be a little bit dark, so we are here to bring you as much light and as much joy as we possibly can. I'm Bradley, and because he stopped in the first safe country he can get to, coming to us from Greece, it's Stu. How you doing, Stu?
Pretty good, yeah. Watching my influencer apartments in Dubai, they're dropping in value. I can't believe it. That's terrible.
I know, you have to take your money out of a tax haven and maybe invest in haven.
Yeah, nice.
Just to cover briefly, the world's going to shit. There's no other way of putting it at the moment. The world is absolutely falling apart on us at the moment. Faults with everyone affected in the Middle East at the moment. Two tyrannical states essentially declaring war and finding whatever bullcrap reasons they can to do so and justify it, and people supporting it. It's ridiculous. But one thing I will say, little sympathy for the people that have gone out to Dubai over the years because of the complaints about the UK and basically not wanting to pay any tax and now desperate to come home. You made your bed, unfortunately. Lie in it. This is what you wanted. Although it did bring up one of my favourite bits of hypocrisy, Stu.
Oh, yeah?
And it was called out by Femi. Sometimes runs me up the wrong way, Femi. But I do like him.
Yeah, me too.
Even as someone who's very left, he can be a bit abrasive and I think sometimes misses the point. But anyway, Nazim Sahari was on LBC. I don't know whether it was like this week or last week or anything. And he was having a debate with someone and he was going on about how London's not safe anymore. And he went, London's not safe. You can't walk around at night. He was giving all that. He goes, Dubai is much safer than London. We've got, people want to bring in Sharia law and it's the immigration and London's not safe anymore. Dubai's safer. And what was pointed out was, you're saying Dubai's safer than London because London wants to bring in Sharia law, which it doesn't, but wants to bring in Sharia law and up immigration. Well, you do know that in Dubai, it's run by Sharia law and has a 90% immigration rate. So Dubai, which you said is safer than London, has Sharia law and high immigration. So which is it?
What a load of bullshit. I mean, I'm no massive fan of London, but come on, it's way safer than it used to be. all the crime statistics are down.
I love a visit of London. I couldn't live in London. I think it'd destroy, not because of safety or anything, just because it's too busy. Because of my autism, it's just too crowded and busy for me. But I could do a visit. I could just about manage a day visit in London or go into a football game or something like that. Couldn't live there.
No.
But do you know what? I'm so in my own world with stuff at times. I've walked about just carrying my phone out and stuff like that. Daytime, nighttime, Edith's running around doing her thing, whatever. Never had an issue.
Yeah.
Never had an issue. I'm not saying people don't get mugged or there aren't unscrupulous characters out there, but it's not a widespread enough issue where it's everyone. To be so distrusting of everyone you see, it's not a great life to live. I get there will be someone and they will take an opportunity, but I blame the individual, not everyone else, not the whole system.
Absolutely.
London's fine. It stinks, but it's fine.
I'm the same as you. I'll visit, but I'm not a huge fan of the crowds and the lack of nature. I'm sorry, Londoners, parks don't really count. But it's all right. I don't mind it, but yeah, I defend it when it comes to crime because it's I believe it's one of the least dangerous cities, big cities on Earth, which is great.
Yeah, totally. It's and it's it's. If I had the time, when you come out of central London and you go to places like Camden and stuff like that, there's nothing better. Go find a cafe on a high street, sit outside, cups of coffee all day, and just people watch. It is such a lovely... The amount of different people you see wandering around London, I think you only get that in places like London, Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, where you can sit there and just see such a mix of personality and culture, and soak that in if you get a chance. One day, just sit there, get all your worries out, even for someone like me who's constantly on the stress. Sit down, relax, and just watch.
Absolutely. Yeah, the individualism is lovely to see. Yeah, I do like that.
Do you know what isn't individual though, Stu?
What's that?
The world of video games.
Ah, yeah, video games.
Yeah, they're all the same these days.
Yeah, they are.
And obviously the new Microsoft Genocide machine has been announced, sort of. Project Helix.
Oh, do you know, I've not seen this. When was that announced?
No, well, they kind of announced it last night, sort of thing. And it's going to be, I believe, a console PC hybrid thing, because it's now going to be, you can play your PC games. Basically, they're trying to release a Steam machine, but with Windows and supporting genocide. Don't buy it.
No, don't. Absolutely not. And also, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah.
That's a really poor idea. The whole thing is that people don't want that kind of thing. They don't want a console PC hybrid. They either want a PC that you can then play wide releases on, or they want a console because it's a nice tight ecosystem. They don't want something that's a halfway house.
And if you did want something that's a bit of a hybrid, there's a certain company out there that's already ahead of you, Microsoft, and doing it quite well.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And they've got their own little handheld out.
But that's the thing, you know, there's the Steam Deck and the Steam Machine, or whatever they're going to call it. That is sort of a PC first, and it's given it a consoleized front end, but it's still very much a PC.
Yeah, it's PC first, but allows Luddites to be able to use it as just a pure gaming system. And that's what it's going for. And it's, you know, the fact is you can use it as, get your games on there, big picture mode, only do the ones with the green tick, good to go. Or if you are feeling adventurous, plenty you can do.
Exactly.
And you're going to have to buy a Steam machine and apparently the PlayStation 6, because rumours are Sony are getting rid of single player games on PC for some stupid reason.
I know. Yeah, I saw that they said that Spider-Man 2 sold 700,000 copies, which, you know, for me...
700,001, thank you very much, because I picked it up last week.
Oh, did you? Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had a load of credit, and I went, yeah, I'll get that. I really fancy it. I like Spider-Man.
I like those games. They're really excellent. Yeah. But, you know, I think that's a decent sale.
They announced it after I bought it, so technically it's my fault.
Yeah. I always blame you for these things. It's normally your fault.
Yeah, and there goes my dream of probably getting Wipeout Amiga Collection on PC. Or Astrobot. I'm going to have to get a PlayStation 5 at some point so I can play Astrobot.
Yeah, do it.
Anyway, enough about the future. Let's talk about the
present.
Present and past. Because technically these games are out, so it's the past, present.
Pastant.
It's Passover. No. What?
No,
Ask
not yet.
Questions, Joe.
What have you been playing?
Quite a mix, actually. And we'll start off. We're gonna go up in quality, shall we say, but none of bad quality. But we're gonna start off with iRacing Arcade, which is technically a new game stroke sequel to the scene behind Circuit Superstars and Karting Superstars. They've been partnered with or bought by the iRacing team, who are massive in the sim racing world. And Circuit Superstars is an arcade racer. So obviously iRacing are branching out to try and get more money, I assume, by having various different types of games. Now, Circuit Superstars was brilliant. It was this like top-down isometric racing game that had recreations of real-world tracks and recreations of cars in that Pro Evo style fake name thing going on, but you knew what they were. And it was a fun racing game. Like, tracks were like their shape but shortened, and you could finish each lap in about 30 seconds to a minute. And it was fun. That was the core concept of the game. It was fun, adrenaline-fueled racing. Then they brought out Karting Superstars, which I really liked. It went to a bit more of a behind view, and it was based around karts rather than like full-on racing cars. And I really liked it. Now, here's my issue a little bit with going into iRacing Arcade. To take my coverage with a pinch pinch of salt here. They stopped development early of Karting Superstars and then moved on to iRacing Arcade. So Karting Superstars is out. It's playable, but it's bare bones. And a lot of the stuff that was meant to come hasn't come. And apparently, from what I understand, will never now be coming, which is bullcrap to me. I don't like that. So I was like, why? What? Don't do that. You can't do that. Or at least offer people refunds or discounts or something for what happened with Karting Superstars. But anyway, I am going to now talk about iRacing Arcade on its own merits. And I had to kind of really separate my thoughts on it to then go into the game. So, iRacing Arcade is very much playable like Circuit Superstars, except it is a pure behind-the-car view. There's no internal cam, there's no change of like top-down or anything like that. It's purely behind the car. And the racing in it is fun. It's fun to race. So you start off with, you get like Fiat 500s, which I think are the only official branded car in there for some reason. And then you go up through touring cars, various endurance style cars, formula cars, like open wheel stuff. And you go up through the ranks, essentially, unlocking more cars. And I think there's a Porsche in there as well. Actually, that might be the other official car. And then you've got a mix of like loads of different tracks. You've got like Knock Hills in there, Imola's in there, and a few others as well. And again, the moment-to-moment racing is really fun. It's close quarters. You could have a bit of contact in there. It doesn't really affect sort of like where you are on the track. It doesn't like knock you out too much. So it really wants you to race. And because it's arcade, it's not punishing you if you're a bit silly with it, which is good. It's got your general sort of like race what you want, when you want modes, time trials, all that. And it's got a career mode. And the career mode is done over the course of a racing season. And whilst you're doing it, you can upgrade your garage and get research and development, engine upgrades and stuff like that, which you can then use to get boosts in races. So extra grip for whatever laps, extra engine power, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's fine, that side of it. But I kind of played through it and just went, well, if it's just one racing season, it's like, I don't know why I'm doing all this. It doesn't seem to be needed. And it seems like this bit's a little bit tacked on. And in all fairness, the one thing I get with this is that it's bare bones. It really feels bare bones. It's only sort of like a small number of racing classes and cars you get early on. You can colour them whatever colour you want and stuff like that. And then there's only a small number of tracks and there's only like a small number of events really to do across a career. And I played through and I'm done. I'm just like, I'm done. There's nothing else I really want to do. Whereas with Circuit Superstars, when I played that, it was just like unlock after unlock after unlock, event after event, getting like a number of stars on each one. And the difficulties really did make a difference in how the game played. But this just doesn't seem to have that. So much so that I'm playing it going, this could have been a paid add-on for Circuit Superstars. This doesn't feel like a fresh, brand new game. The quality I was expecting from the team behind Circuit Superstars and also the team behind iRacing just doesn't feel like it's there. And at 20 odd quid, £21, it's that. I don't know. It feels like it should be an early access game, but it's not. It's a full release. And I don't know what's to come, what they're going to add to it. And I don't know whether they're going to go Circuit Superstars route, where they just continue to add new stuff and great, or they're going to go, it's not doing as well as we hoped, we abandoned this one like we did Karting Superstars. So it's fun to play, just not enough there.
How weird. That sounds like such a dodgy business model. Like, what are they actually thinking? Have they even got a plan for it? That's really weird.
Yeah, no idea. I mean, it's on Steam now. It's coming to console in the summer, I believe. So whether they'll add more to it, then I don't know. Whether maybe the PC version somewhat of a test bed for them. Um, as I said, Circuit Superstars, they nailed it. I think that is one of the best arcade racing games ever. Absolutely outstanding. And Karting Superstars looks set to be a brilliant follow-up. I say, the fact it just seemed to be dropped, that really rubbed me up the wrong way. Maybe it's just because I really like that game and I want a good kart game, because I think they're like, there's hardly any of them. And the ones that have come out have always been not great or been too hardcore, whereas this seems to bridge that gap really well. And I say, again, they've nailed the arcade racing that feels like you are possibly in a proper sim championship type thing, but keeping that arcade feel. They've nailed that. But to be so bare bones, I don't know. I just... It's a weird one. If it had more, I'd have gone, do you know what? I understand maybe why they moved on to this and concentrated on this, because there's so much here. It just needs more. And I don't know if it's a licensing thing or what. I don't want to be overly harsh and just go like, I hate this game, because I enjoyed what I played of it, but I've finished it and I've got no reason to go back.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's very rare that you and I complain about the duration of games. I mean, because we're not bothered about shorter games at all, but this sounds like it's making a terrible mistake somewhere.
Yeah. I hope that they can turn around and get this fixed. And get more in there. Very limited, and if they can, it will be a big recommend, I think. Taking my you screwed me over with Karting Superstars hat off. I can highly then recommend it, but I say, I'm just checking the numbers, 8 cars in there.
Wow.
Yeah. Not the only game I think that can get away with going, we've got 8 cars variants, is Outrun.
Yeah.
Because you get Ferrari. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, precisely.
That only needs 1 car, in all fairness.
Yeah.
It's like about the only one that can get away with that. Something like this, no, it can't. I hope they turn it around, but at the moment, yeah, it's good. Can't recommend it, though.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
What about you?
Well, I've not been playing any racing games this week, you'll be surprised to hear, and that's because they never release any good ones. But I am quite looking forward to... there's a game called Screamer coming out, and that looks pretty good.
Yeah. I'm touching all wood that I can on that one, that it's good.
No, I bet you are, young man. But yeah, me too. But so yeah, no, I've not.
Why am I talking to Brian Clough?
I know that was a bit cluffy, but can't see the Nottingham Forest for the trees. That's the problem.
Hey.
But no, I have not been playing anything like that. I've been playing Resident Evil Requiem along with like half the world, really.
Never heard of it.
No, it's only a small title, bit of an indie release. Yeah. Deck building roguelite, match 3, that kind of thing. No.
Oh, well, now I'm interested. Deck building match 3 roguelike Resident Evil game. Get on it.
You want that so bad.
Oh, I do. Carry on.
You're not getting it. But, so I've been playing that. I've completed it, and I'm part run on another difficulty level, but now I'm doing a full run on casual difficulty level so that I can get like loads of extra points so I can buy loads of cool shit, which is the way that I normally do it. So I play it on a standard difficulty, get it completed, and then, start playing it on the easier ones to learn all the routes and get all the cool weapons and stuff like that. And which is great because a lot of that terrible, horrifying tension of playing the game for the first time is gone, and you can relax and enjoy it a little bit more. So, is it any good? Yes, it is. It's great. It's really funny that the way that Resi Evil's developed over the years, and I follow creators who play Resi as well as playing the games myself, so I know quite a bit about it. I'm not like an absolute expert, but I've been playing them for decades. And it's had a kind of a weird transition since the kind of middle period where from Resi 5 up until Resi 7, there were about 15 games, and they were all trying different things and none of them really landed. And then they did Resident Evil 7, which was a huge comeback for the series, and massively critically acclaimed as well as publicly acclaimed and purchased. And then there was Village, which is like 7, but significantly different in certain spaces. And this, and in between that, they were doing loads of re-releases, with the remakes. And this is a marriage of the two, and it's almost exactly a game of two halves. It's got one character, one protagonist, Grace, and when you play as them, that's much more like Resident Evil 7 or 8. And when you play as Leon, it's much more of a Resident Evil 4 remake style game. And really that kind of encapsulates it. To me, all the games like 7, 8 and now 9 have got a second half problem. They feel to me as though the creative team have gone, okay, this is our main thought for this game. This is the style of play, and this is going to be the main environment that you're going to be in. And so, like in 7, it was this dilapidated, massive house on the bayou. In Village, it was the Lady Dimitrescu's house, mansion. Well, not mansion, castle on the hill. And in this game, it's the care home, the one right at the beginning of the game. And it feels to me as though the entire kind of sales pitch is around making those great. And all of the other games, all of those games that I've mentioned, have a second half problem where they're not as good. They kind of go, right, we've cracked it. We know what we're doing. We've got this brilliant mansion or house or castle, and that's going to be the exploration. And then they build that, and they're like, okay, that's 4 hours of gameplay on first playthrough. We need a second half of this game, and then it's not as good. And you get that with 7 because you've got the stronghold and the factory, both of which I couldn't stand. You've got in 8. Sorry, that's in 8. In 7, you've got the boat, which everybody hates. And yeah, it really drags it down because it takes what are probably 10 out of 10 games like Resident Evil 4 Remake and drags them down to about an 8. And I mean, this is starting to sound very down on the game, but it's a really good game, but it's got a second half problem, and it's strangely it's Leon's campaign, not the gameplay in and of itself, which is really tight and very much like the remake game, but it's more the area design and the level design. So I'm going to do some minor spoilers, although these are absolutely everywhere at the moment, so they're not really spoilers. But if you are sensitive towards even minor spoilers, skip to what we've marked in the show notes and you'll avoid them. Okay, so you in this basically the second half of the game, you're playing in Raccoon City, and a lot of it around the police station. And going back to the police station is okay, but really it's just nostalgia bait and a bit of an asset flip. It's okay, but it's like, did we really need to do this? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that should be a big, technically, if you're going to do that, that should be a big moment where you're going, whoa, we're back here, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it kind of isn't, it kind of isn't. And I think that there are a couple ways that you could play it off. I think moving it to right at the end of the game would have been better, and making it very short would also have been better.
Like a mid-credit sequence in a Marvel film, kind of thing.
Making it a cameo, really. They also did it in Metal Gear 4 with going back to Outer Heaven. It's like.
I don't remember going back to Raccoon City in Metal Gear, but he's Kojima, so he might have.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. But so it's kind of, it's okay, but it is a bit repetitive, and it is nostalgia bait, and we've only been there recently in Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 2 Remake. But also there's going around Raccoon City, and that section's quite boring. There's a lot of backtracking and in not very appealing or very excitingly designed areas. And the best thing about the game is that in the first half, the zombies are unique in that they have different patterns of behaviour because they've retained some of their humanity. And they don't have that in the second half. They're just back to being sort of regular zombies. So it's a little bit dumbed down. It's a little less well designed, and that takes a bit of the shine off it. But it's still an exciting action game in that half. The first half is really superb. It's terrifying. It's so tense and sweaty the entire time. The whole gameplay mechanic is cool. And again, minor spoilers. You have basically the return of Crimson Heads. So unless you pop a zombie's head, it's going to come back in a much, much more powerful form, and even more powerful than the Crimson Heads. Like the Crimson Heads would take, I don't know, probably like 6 times the amount of ammo to kill than a regular zombie.
Yeah.
But these will take like 12 times the amount of ammo. They're like practically indestructible unless you've got like really high powered weapons. And to get high-powered weapons, you have to use the blood of the infected that you find. You get a blood collector that you can use then to salvage scrap and the blood to create, new weapons and bullets and things like that, which is really great. There's a push-pull with that. There's a whole, do I use stealth and follow these half-intelligent zombies' patterns to avoid them? Do I take them out? Do I try and headshot them? Do I use these things? You can craft these injectors that will destroy them in one injection if you get them stealthily. So there's like at least 4 ways to approach any given zombie encounter, which is phenomenal. The first half of the game is like an all-time chef's kiss classic, and the second half is perfectly serviceable, good fun, but it's not genius. It's just more of the remake style. So it's a superb game. It's great. It's going to be one of the games of the year. I really love it as a Resident Evil game. It's not too long. It's got a little bit of a replayability problem, even though, for once, finally, you can skip cutscenes. So on your subsequent playthroughs, yeah, I know, big deal. Subsequent playthroughs, you can go, just skip those. But there are a handful, but last a long time, of unimportant lore sections that you don't really want to replay and should probably be given the option to skip. But overall, excellent game. It's not quite up there with the absolute greatest, but it's definitely one of the better ones. And it's better to do, rather than a ranking list, it's better to do a tier list with Resident Evil games. Yeah. And this is definitely A tier, if not upper A tier. Not
up there with Resident Evil 5. 6, sorry.
Oh, God, no. 6, yeah. 6 is...
Oh, 6 stands on its own. Come on.
It does. I quite happily let it stand on its own in a corner, be ignored. But, no, I mean, it's like, if I think of, Resident Evil 1, 4, original 2, those sorts of things as S tier, and this is an A tier, along with, like, Resident Evil 2 Remake and Resident Evil 3 and a few others, so really excellent, just not right at the pinnacle of Resident Evil, but still excellent.
Fair enough. So, a couple of questions. I always look at Resident Evil as almost like a Star Wars-esque trilogy sections. So you've got obviously the 1 to 3 trilogy, the 4 to 6 trilogy, and the 7 to 9 trilogy now. Where would you put 7, 8, and 9 compared to 1, 2, and 3?
That's a really good question. I'd say it's comparable. I'd say that they're on a level. I do think that second half or last third or however you feel about it personally, that sort of second half slump that they all fall into, kind of doesn't really apply to the first 3 games. The thing is, like, Resident Evil 3 is the thing that divides people quite a bit, like Resident Evil 3 Classic, because it's got a lot of similar assets from the second game. It's got a lot of similar gameplay. It adds some new features that people don't really understand. It's got a parry system that doesn't work very well, but is a good idea, but doesn't work particularly well. But then it has the idea of choosing your options, especially around Nemesis himself, which gives different endings, and there are tons of different endings. And there's the crafting system, which makes its appearance. So it's kind of divisive, but I'd say it's on a par. I'd say that 7 is one of the greatest horror games of all time. Terrifying, not very replayable, but I know that you're not going to feel the same way. But
the demo was brilliant, by the way, for Resident Evil 7.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've crafted the perfect first half of the game there. Village again has got some excellent sections. None of them hit the heights of 7. None of them quite reach that level, but its aggregate sort of play style is better up until the end, up until the last couple of sections, I'd say. And that has Resident Evil 8, this is where I'm going to draw a line in the sand. Resident Evil 8 has the best atmosphere of every Resident Evil game. Absolutely, hands down. It just looks phenomenal, and it feels like you're in that. It's one of the best designed video game worlds that there's ever been. It really pushes the RE engine so hard. So that has the atmosphere, and it has a great aggregate across the play. It's got one of the weakest weapons in the entire series, weapon sets, which is a shame because they're not very punchy and not very exciting. But the story's brilliant, and it's great. And 9 is almost a compromise between the two series having been running in parallel, so the remake series and the mainline series, and it's bringing the two together, and that has all the issues that you would expect to when you do that. But not in a bad way, in a good way. And I think this is going to be fondly remembered. People are going to really like it. I think that the initial scores are possibly too high. We don't talk about scores a lot, so it's hard for me to sort of, say where they land.
But he's part of the gaming landscape,
yeah,
isn't it? So it does come up.
Exactly.
We just don't score.
Exactly. And I think it's one of those that the aggregate score will kind of drop a little bit over time, and it'll end up in, 75 to 80 to 85 region. Yeah.
Which is still
yes,
good.
Exactly. So it's a really, really excellent game, just not threatening the likes of, Resident Evil Remake or Resident Evil 4 Remake or original Resident Evil 4. It's not in that tier. But I'd say, to answer your question, this trilogy is probably almost the equal of the original trilogy on the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only reason the other trilogy's in there is because of 4.
Pretty much. I mean, I really like 5, but I know I'm pretty
5
on
is
my
a good
own.
game. It's just not a good Resident Evil game.
Yeah, it is. It's way.
It's Splinter Cell Conviction. It's Hitman Absolution. Good games, just not good games in their series.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And there are some real terrible bits in 5, but I like it. But
the punching of the rock, is that 5?
That's 5. Yeah.
That is 5. Yeah.
Rockwood.
So one last question on this, because obviously the biggest meme about Resident Evil is the puzzles.
Yes.
You've got to go through this rickety old door, but you need a key. You've got to go get the key from the old man, but to get to the old man, you've got to get he wants a coin that you can only get from this thing to get a diamond that you've got to find elsewhere. It's ridiculous. So are the puzzles in 9 enough to make Ron Gilbert and Tim Schafer go a bit much?
No, not at all. No, they're like the previous ones in that they're more exactly as you described. Really, they're kind of more environmental. They're this isn't here. What do I need to get through this door? Where can I find that? What will get me to that part? And what will I need to do there? And they're not really puzzles in that they don't stretch your brain matter in any way.
It's just more like they're puzzles like they were in the old Dizzy games, where it's just back and forth constantly.
Yeah, it's more fetch questy, more kind of Metroid-y. You don't have to think in Metroid, you just have to find, and it's kind of like that. But in a good way, it's really good. You have to pay attention and you have to read notes, and I think that's the whole thing with Resi. It's like it's very clever in bringing you into the atmosphere by making you read notes. So clues are going to be in notes. If you don't read the lore and get the texture of the environment and the people that you're dealing with by reading the lore, you're also going to miss out on the puzzles, and vice versa. Which is a very clever way of getting you properly immersed, and that's been carried through beautifully from the very, very first game, like 30 years ago.
Yeah. Cool. Right, moving on. You might hate me for this one, Stu.
Okay.
But my love for this outweighs your love for the genre, I think. But feel free to tell me where to go. Scott Pilgrim X.
Yeah.
Or EX. I love Scott Pilgrim. I had to have this one. I love Scott Pilgrim as a whole thing. I love the graphic novels, the film. I think Edgar Wright made the perfect film. And I will fight anyone that argues that. It's not the best film ever, but it's a perfect film.
I love
it. So, sorry?
I love it.
Yeah. I just, like, you watch it, you go, I can't find fault. Is it the best film ever? No, but I cannot find fault with it. It will never be able to be remade because it's of its time and he perfected it. No one can remake that film because you can't use the same actors and they nailed their cast choicing and everything. But anyway, I love Scott Pilgrim. I love the Scott Pilgrim versus the World game. And this is another beat 'em up in that vein. It's made by Tribute Games, who done Marvel Cosmic Invasion, along with .mu and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, one of them, I think it was.
Yeah.
They done that as well, which were both absolutely very good games. And this is another one of those, but in the Scott Pilgrim world. So it's set in Toronto in the year 20XX. And you get to play as, obviously, Scott. There's Ramona and a number of the other characters as well that you get to play as. And basically, so it's got a brand new story written by the original series creator, Brian Lee O'Malley, which is really, really good. And I think he had a hand in designing the levels as well. So it feels really connected in a really fun way as well. But yeah, you go through the story and you basically just beat them up. You collect coins. You get different pickups and health bonuses. And each character you play actually has a really good distinctive feel to them and changes up a bit how you play the game. And I've played through, I'd say, about 2/3 of the game so far because I love Scott Pilgrim, but I'm not great at beat-em-ups. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being in the world. It looks very Scott Pilgrim. It looks like it's been pulled straight out of the graphic novels. And it's got that complete art style. So much so when I first saw this, I wondered if it was a direct sequel to Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. And it's not. It's not even the same. As far as I'm aware, it's not the same team or anything. It's just that you cannot make a Scott Pilgrim game without it having this distinct look. So this looks like it could be a sequel. And I actually went back and played Scott Pilgrim versus the World the other day as well, just to do a bit of a comparison. And yeah, they are two completely different games. They play, even though they're both beat ups, they play completely differently. They feel really different. But both of them are absolutely outstanding. And there's not much you can really say about the game. It's like, do you like beat 'em ups? Yeah, well, you'll like this. Are you a Scott Pilgrim fan? Yeah, well, you'll love this because it's got all the cool pop culture references that you would expect. So if that's the reason you like Scott Pilgrim, well, this has got it for you. And I say, I don't think it's overly long. I think it's only a few hours. But it's got 1 to 4 player options in there. And I believe it's local. Yeah, it is local co-op and online. So you've got those options for it as well. Runs absolutely perfectly on Steam Deck as well, which is always a bonus. And one of the things that really gets me, some of the power-ups you get on there are so cool. It just looks cool. And yeah, an absolutely great time. There was, I suppose, the one thing I should give, not just wax lyrical about it, is there was a couple of areas where I kind of went, I don't know what I've got to do next. And kind of got a little bit lost, which is weird in a side scroller like this. But it kind of came to a point, it was like, well, what do I do now? I was there for a couple of minutes, then I found my path again, and I was good to go. I would argue, if you're being picky, that's maybe slightly poor user experience design, level design there. But overall, what was my experience? That happened maybe twice. So it could be a me problem. But again, you've maybe got to pick up, is that a design problem? that can happen in such what should be a simple game. But it's just pure pick up and play, beat 'em up, nostalgic fun.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's on my radar.
Yes.
It's only money that's kept me away from it. But
I will try and get you a key.
oh, that would be lovely. Yeah, I would like that very much. But yeah, it's Tribute Games obviously did Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which was one of my games of last year, and yeah, they did Shredder's Revenge, which is also awesome. The only worry I've got is about flooding the market, like because I mean, for me, this is a type of genre that I'll just play and play, but for a lot of people, it's a nostalgia genre, and for nostalgia genres, you're often best drip feeding people, and like one a year, you know, because like Streets of Rage 4 came out. And then there was quite a long time until you saw the likes of Shredder's Revenge come out. You know, it was about a year and a half. And people were absolutely frothing at the mouth for it by the time it came out. And I'm just a little bit worried that they might oversaturate things because it's a bubble. But, I mean, that's like, you know, my diamond slippers are too tight kind of criticism. It's nice for me to have this huge array of these things coming out.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong on that. You look at... Shredder's Revenge came out halfway through 2022, and then we had essentially 3.5 years until Marvel Cosmic Invasion, and we've had 4 months between that and Scott Pilgrim X. So you've gone from these large gaps between them to sort of like 2 right on the back of each other. I mean, that obviously they can't help how long it takes these games to be developed. There's that. But yeah, I'm with you. As long as these aren't now let's try and shove one of these out every few months, I don't think we are going to see an oversaturation. I'm just looking at their upcoming games for tribute games, and there isn't any. So whatever's there, they haven't either announced, or they clearly haven't announced yet. So I can't imagine they've got anything this year now. I can't imagine they're going to announce and shadow drop something of a similar ilk. So, yeah, hopefully, it's a case of it's just worked out this is how this one was developed. I think Cosmic Invasion, was it developed by these or was it developed by .mu?
Oh, yeah. No, it was developed by .mu, wasn't it?
Yeah, whatever way. So, hopefully now it's just a case of this is just how the development cycle worked on these ones. If we've got to wait another 2 years for whatever comes next, whether it's, I don't know, Power Rangers or Mask or Visionaries or Thundercats or whatever they decide to do next. Thundercats, please. Then, yeah, great. That's fine. But if we get an announcement and another one in another 3 months, that will be a bit... can I just digest what we've got here, please?
Yeah, they do need to be a bit cautious. Sorry, I just had a look and, yeah, the developer of... Cosmic Invasion was Tribute Games, so
okay.
Yeah, it was
they must have been doing them
by .emu.
Yeah. But I suppose they've got the engine for these, so I suppose this definitely isn't a. So there's obviously a data fee. Oh, is this just a new skin over the? No, it's not. It's not a new skin over the same game. This is clearly a separate game to Cosmic Invasion. It plays very differently to Cosmic Invasion, despite both being beat 'em ups.
Cool. Yeah. No. Looking forward to playing this one.
Oh, I will try and get you a code.
Yeah, that would be great.
Anyway, up next, do you remember Disco Elysium, Stu?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, very good game. Do you remember all the controversy around Disco Elysium?
I do, yes.
Yes. And there's been a lot of clamouring for people wanting a spiritual successor to Disco Elysium. Now, apparently... some of the people behind the original Disco Elysium are working on something, but I don't know what's going on there because that's sparking debate, and I'll just ignore that. Thank you. However, if you do want a Disco Elysium type of game, then I've got one for you, and it is called Esoteric Ebb.
Oh,
which is indeed, very much indeed, produced by my favourite publishers at the moment, Raw Fury, who I think just continue to put out such good quality and wide-ranging games. It's just fantastic. This is developed by Christopher and Bodegard. And what you've essentially got here is a isometric simple tabletop RPG style game using dice rolls and stuff like that. That's very, very story rich. And everything you do is making a choice. So very much in the vein of Disco Elysium in that way. And I've played a number of hours of it. I've not completed it. It took me 2 years, I think, to finish Disco Elysium. And this will probably be the same for me as I'd like dive in and out of it. It's purely a single player CRPG, which is good. Because it's like just there's no worries that you're like letting anyone down, or you've got to stay in the moment before you lose out on the game. You can play it as you want, and the game's based in this kind of fantasy world of wizards and clerics and things like that. And I'll come back to that in a second as to why I personally struggle with this a little bit, but others won't. And you kind of wake up, lack of memory, and you do your dice choices to what sort of person are you, and try to discover about the world. And every choice you make, like very, very early bit, you've got to go and get hold of a bow and arrow kind of thing off a creature. And if you try and steal it and you roll and get a failure roll, then he's like, nope, this is my bow and arrow, and if you come near me again, I'm going to murder you. But then you've got to try and find other ways around it and do various rolls. It's there to teach you the mechanics of how dice rolls work in these sort of games, essentially. And you have all these various dialogue trees, and then each thing you do will give you XP, and you can get level up on certain stats. So you can level up your intuition, your cunning, that kind of thing. And next time you do a roll, you get bonuses added to it, and that'll increase your chance of success. There's then, as part of all this, you get your skill points, and there's these. I think they actually called it a mind map in the game, but you kind of get this mind map upgrade tree that you can do, which again all adds to sort of like your benefit and progressing the story and what you're good at, what you're not good at, that kind of thing. And you go through, you have all these discussions with various different characters, and that's what you get. This is what a lot of these games are. It's discussion, a lot of discussion. So you've got to really be okay with a talky game, and this is what this does exceptionally well. So you get a lot of like character interaction, and then you find something you've got to also uncover this language, and dice rolls will help you understand different books, which will help you uncover more of the language, and that's a mechanic I like in a couple of other games, like. Not Toxic Fox. What was it called? Tunic. Toxic Fox. That's a game, isn't it?
Oh, I want to play that.
Yeah, I'll invent that. Tunic, where again you uncover the language, or you've got Chance of Cinar, where again it's uncovering language. I love stuff like that, where you are completely foreign to all of this, and then you learn more. And the game, I love that. I'm all in for this. Esoteric Ebb also looks absolutely beautiful. It has got an amazing art style. It feels like you're in this painted world. And even the characters feel painted, but feel separate to the background in a way that makes you feel like you're playing like this really expansive tabletop game. But they don't feel so disconnected that it doesn't feel like they are part of this world. It's so hard to explain unless you see it in motion. And I say, even playing on Steam Deck, you get good accessibility options with all the text, so you can get it. So it's all very legible and everything, which is really good, and I think is a must. A lot of decisions happen in the background, so it'll tell you, rolled and failed. You don't show you, but then the big decisions, you get to see the dice roll and what effects are being added. So you kind of maybe go, right, okay, this is what I need to try and work on to level up. And all your conversations you have will work towards that. And it's this expansive world that starts off quite claustrophobic and it just opens. And just you can go kind of like anywhere and start going anywhere. And the story is kind of guided and linear, but also really open in terms of the context options and like the branching paths and stuff like that feel so open, despite it being a guided tour in a way. And I'm trying to avoid story spoilers or anything because, again, these are the sort of games it's got to be a you experience. Now, my only issue with it, and this isn't a game problem, this is a me problem, is I got on with Disco Elysium because it was set in a world I understand. It was a modern world, a futuristic world. Bedrooms were bedrooms, apartments were apartments, bars were bars, and people were people. I got that. That I could understand. You've gone to a park and someone's been murdered there. I know what a park is, and I know what a detective is. Whenever I play games set in fantasy world, my brain, no matter how many I've played of it, I've played Dragon Age, I've played Dungeons and Dragons, The Witcher, anything like that. You say to me, oh, this is a cleric. Well, I don't know what a cleric is. I can read it, and my brain goes, well, that says what a cleric. I don't know what a cleric is in terms of anything. And it's like I don't know, and my brain just cannot wrap around it. And I will quite often bounce off games like that because I don't understand the terminology, or my brain just will not put what a cleric is in terms of a real world variant or anything like that. And that is a me problem. That is clearly a me problem and probably a neurodiverse problem on my side. I'm just thick, one of the two. And here's the but, and this is why this is so good, this game. I am loving this game despite not understanding parts of it properly. I am absolutely enamored with this game. I don't understand what skill points work out to what, like I did in Disco Elysium, but I will try it and I will work my way through it because, oh my God, the story is fantastic. The setting's fantastic. The moment-to-moment gameplay is absolutely outstanding. In fact, the only thing I would say it's missing is voice acting.
Right. God, well, I mean, it looks excellent. I mean, you're right. The visual style is astonishing. That's really good. And they've taken a lot of the sort of UI looks very Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition,
yes.
5e. Which is great. I'm very tempted to get hold of this in the future as well because it looks great.
Yeah, it clearly. Again, this one I will purely say, if you enjoyed anything, whether you enjoyed like Disco Elysium, Citizen Sleeper, if you've ever enjoyed Dungeons and Dragons, if you enjoyed a Baldur's Gate game, anything like that, then yeah, this is gonna be potentially, this could be one of the Game of the Year contenders. The only thing that might stop it, ironically enough, is its release date. It's come out so early in the year, it could be forgotten at the end when people are making their discussions. That could be the only possible holdback for it because, yeah, this is special. And as I said, as someone who doesn't get on well with fantasy settings, I don't think it's like beneath me. I just don't. I love fantasy stuff. I just don't understand it. And I'm still absolutely enthralled by this game.
Superb. It is kind of crazy how people have like recency bias when they're voting for games of the year.
We have it as well.
Oh well. Well, I suppose.
Well, not you. You're recency bias if it was after 1985.
Yeah. That's right. I'm still putting Outrun as like my number one. But no, that's true. But no, like you'd expect journalists to just be like, yeah, no, I loved this game. I'm gonna let it win, kind of thing. But no, I don't know. Weird.
I think because as well, if this was The Witcher Ebb, like it was a story in the Witcher universe and was made by CD Projekt Red, I think, yeah, this would be right there at the end because it would be in the wider world. The wider public would know about it. This is from the Cyberpunk guys. Oh my God, let's try it. But it's not. And I think that's the only thing that will keep it from the discussion later in the year. It's going to get, I think, quite a few maybe indie mentions. We'll mention it, I think. I think it'll definitely be in the discussion for whatever format we do this at the end of the year. I I don't think it's going to be one that's there in like the ones that are well known, the Game Awards and stuff like that. But the indie ones, yeah, I think it's going to be there.
Good.
And it deserves to be. It is exceptional.
Lovely.
Hopefully, by the time December rolls around, it doesn't turn out there's AI in there. Get ruined like another game did last year.
Yeah. God, that buggered things up at the last minute, didn't it?
Yeah, and that is still an amazing game, but I can't... Again, not to go back on that completely, one of my favourite all-time games, just can't give it awards because of AI.
I know. Horrible.
But yeah, that is, yeah. So, just play this one. If you get a chance, it is special.
Marvellous. And what of Slay the Spire 2? Is that a game for next week?
It's a game for all time. Oh my God. Oh, I'd like to tell you that it's not very good, Stu, and it's definitely an early access game. I've played complete games that aren't as complete as Slay the Spire 2.
Yeah, I bet.
Like Steam broke last night. So as we record this on the Friday, this came out on the Thursday. Steam broke, possibly because of Marathon as well, but it broke. We're going to play Slay the Spire Mega Crit for this. And it took me over an hour to get the game. Finally got it. Then I had to have dinner, get Edith like sorted and stuff like that, and settled down at 10, half 9, 10 to play it. I looked up and it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
Jesus.
Oh my God, it's good. Yeah, everything I wanted a sequel. Need some accessibility things, which I have fed back, and whether they'll get it or not. So it needs stuff like the map needs a dark mode option, and it needs some font size stuff. But it's early access. It's stuff you can't complain about. You can only feed back. But even with those, oh my God, it's everything I wanted in a sequel from Slay the Spire.
Awesome. So we're doing the full review when it gets its 1.0 release?
Yes. About 1.5 to 2 years away, apparently.
Oh, crikey. Maybe not then.
It's a long time. Yeah, it could possibly go double game of the year discussions. I don't know.
Not bad.
But yeah, no, it is special. And again, we I think we've been treated this year so far. It's been a really solid start to the year, because in my own personal collections tab of stuff that is potentially discussed at the end of the year, we've got Super Woden Rally Edge, we've got TR49, we've got Care, we've got Eugenics, we've got Relooted, we've got New Heights, we've got Esoteric Ebb, and we've got Slay the Spire 2, and we've only just hit March.
Not bad.
I don't know about any AAA shit, but who cares about that?
Well, Resi Evil.
Well, you have.
I know, right? For the first time in years.
I really don't know whether Resident Evil's AAA or not.
I think it's probably just about edged into AAA now, I would say.
2.5, eh?
Well, based on like the number of adverts I've seen for it and stuff, I'd say AAA at last.
I mean, I think you can claim. Does it have a load of microtransaction bullshit?
No.
Then no, it's not. That was not. I think that. Yeah, it's weird. Capcom are this weird company. They should be AAA, but they're just below that. They make mistakes, but they're not egregiously all the time the worst.
True. That is true.
Anyway, do you know what else isn't the worst, Stu?
What?
Oh, why am I segue? I was segue back into video games.
Go on, what's not the worst?
Your outros, Stu.
That's very kind. I mean, they're always the same, but, you know, yeah, if you like them, that's great. Yeah, right, well...
Best bit.
Best bit of the show. It's the only consistent part. Yeah, so as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you're checking out the content on the website. Join us to chat on Discord. Again, still not had the discussion about Discord, but we will. And until next time, stay safe and stay sane.